What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Lazy MMA, the best place for MMA picks on YouTube. Today we're doing something a little different. We are joined by the man himself, Gianni Vazquez. I'm going to pass it over to him, and Gianni, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, boys? Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm Gianni Vazquez, the Kriptonite, and then, I'm just happy and blessed to be here with you guys.
Dude, it is great to have you on. I was going to ask you, actually, where did you get your nickname Kriptonite?
I got it like long time ago when I was still living in Mexico. I was training at my Muay Thai gym, and then one of my teammates up there, his name's Salvador Zamora. He is the one that put me that nickname, just because we've been having the pleasure to take it off the O from some fighters in his record. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fighters. It's like four fighters. I was his first loss. So, every single time you fight an undefeated fighter, stuff like that, everybody paint it as a Superman. And then, like, every time they face us, they met the loss, for the first time ever. So he decided to call me the Kryptonite, and then Kriptonita, and I feel like I fit it good with me.
That's super sick, man. If you fight Gianni Vazquez, your O must go. I like that.
Exactly.
Dude, let me ask you some questions about like all the way back then. When and how did you first find out what MMA was? What was your first experience with MMA?
It was like back in the day when I was like really young still. Like I started watching. I remember I was in Mexico, and then late night, they used to pass like King of the Cage, in the national TV, because I didn't have like cable or anything like that, or in that time, and then it's just like in the national TV, like late night, like after midnight, they used to pass King of the Cage, and that's when I started kind of watching a little bit. Is when the the cage was yellow and black, and then you have like all these OGs fighting there. So I used to watch that, and then later on, I started doing boxing, and then finally we can afford cable, and then UFC was on Fox Sport in that time. It was UFC and Bellator in that time. They were putting those fights on Fox Sports in Mexico, and then we were watching it all weekend, and then eventually, like, I grew up a little bit more, and then I was just like buying the DVDs. They used to sell DVDs with like the UFC fights and then UFC cards, and I have a bunch. I still have that collection in Mexico. I still have my collection of DVDs in Mexico City about UFC cards.
Dude, that's super sick. That's OG as fuck. I was gonna ask, since you said you started off with boxing first, right? What was your first boxing class like? Like, did you get thrown around a little bit? Because that's what happened to me. Like, the first time I did jujitsu, I got thrown around by a bunch of grown men. What was your first experience like?
For me, it wasn't that bad, to be honest, because I was used to getting in the fights in the street. So like somehow I have some talent. So when I went the first time to boxing, I feel like I always was like really excited about learning some sport. I growing up, I never did really any sport. Um, my parents never let me compete or like do any sport because when I was a baby, I have like a crazy injury on my skull, which I fractured my whole skull. So like
Your
the
whole
doctor
skull?
told, yeah, like I have like a big ass fracture in my skull when I was a baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the doctors told my parents that like it shouldn't be good for me to do sports because if I get like a crazy impact, probably it would be like really like bad for me. So my parents like literally raised me like that without like doing any sports because they were like always trying to keep me safe and stuff like that. But I was always getting in the fights. Always getting in the fights in the school and stuff like that. So when one of my classmates invited me to boxing, I started boxing like hiding. I was telling my parents that like I was about to do like a extra hour at school of like a studio something like that, and I was just start doing boxing. So my first classes in boxing, it was just like I'm blessed. I started with like old school boxing in Mexico, which like the first 3 months they don't even show you how to punch. It was just like show you how to walk.
Just footwork. Just footwork is what you started
Yeah,
off on.
just
Yeah.
walk. For the first 3 months, you just know how to walk, and then the first like probably like 4 to 6 months just to use the jab. You don't use any other hand. Literally, they even put you like a. They make you as soon as you start like using boxing gloves, they make you like take it off your right glove and then put it under your armpit. So you learn how to keep your hand always attached to your face and like this. And it's like 4 months just using the left glove.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it was pretty cool. I like it a lot, to be honest.
Dude, I was gonna say, dude, your boxing fundamentals really shows in the cage. You go do such a good job of cutting angles. So I could believe, dude, like you used to be a mean guy back in the cage in boxing, eh? That's where you started off at. I was gonna say, you now fast forward to the future. You have 20 fights under your belt, dude. You are experienced. But how would you compare the feeling of the first time you got into the cage versus now?
To be honest, it's always the same feeling for me. Like I'm always really excited and happy to do it. I'm always get. I don't get like nervous. I don't get anxious. I don't feel like any type of fear. I'm always just like super excited. Like I'm always in the background. Like my teammates, my team, my corner. They're not gonna. They can't let me lie. Like for this fight, I was in the backstage, and then I was eating. I eat like my fruit. I eat a burrito. I drink a little Coke. I play music. I'm
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
chilling. Like I'm
This was
like,
right before your fight?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I ate like two pieces of sweet breads, like because I couldn't have my donuts this time. So but they brought like a sweet bread, like a Mexican sweet bread, and I eat like couple pizzas, and I'm just chilling. I'm just happy, like I see other fighters, they get really nervous and really like kind of anxious, stuff like that. For me, it's just like I'm just happy, I'm dancing, playing my music, boom, on the mood, and then when they just call my name, I'm just like hell yeah, it's time to the party. So.
Dude, it really shows when you're in cage. You're always having a good time when you're in the cage, dude.
Yeah. So my first fight was the same thing. Even when I was fighting on the street, like all the time, I was super excited. I remember when I was like a kid and I was about to get in a fight after school, I always have my cell phone because I used to even like, thank God, like I was like 12, 15, but in that time I still like the first cell phones with like camera came out. I remember I used to have like a Sony Ericsson. It was super OG cell phone and it has like a camera, like 3 megapixels. And then I used to be just walking with my homie. I said, "Hey, you have the video. You take the video. I'm gonna fight." And then you take the video. If I start getting my ass whooped, stop the video, separate me.
Stop the video. Stop the
Yeah,
video.
stop the video, separate me. But thank God, like I never lost a fight in school. So like we always have a good videos.
Dude, that's so sick. You're just always itching for a scrap. I love that, man. You know, that's so awesome. I love how you just love to fight. And I was going to actually ask you a different question. What made you finally decide that MMA is what you want to do for a living? This is what you want to do as a job, and this is what you want to commit yourself to?
It was literally like I would say the biggest moment for me. It was after one of my I think it was like my third or four professional fight. I remember I fought like in this event in Mexico City. It was called GFL. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a super OG promotion. Literally, like the best fighters of Mexico, they come out of that promotion. Like like Alessandro Costa came out of that promotion. Diego Lopez came out of that promotion. Like a lot of like I would say the
Legit
best
top prospects
the,
come out of that
the
promotion.
best talent of Mexico is coming out of that promotion. That promotion has been around for years. So I remember I fought there, and then it was like my third, fourth professional fight. Nobody wants to fight this guy, and then he was having a lot of like experience. And then I say yes to the fight, and then it was a big event. It was like 4 or 5 thousand people,
Four or
which is
5,000
crazy,
people for the regional scene is
which is
crazy.
crazy. And it was like super packed and stuff like that. And I remember like I came out and then I used to fight a 45 in that time. And then man, I got my ass whooped really bad. Like really, really fucking bad the first round. Like I remember the guy dislocated one of my finger, broke my nose. I have like 11 stitches on my head, my mouth all bleeding. I was getting my ass whooped, and then thank God in the second round, like he got tired from beating my ass. He decided to take me down, and as soon as we went to the ground, I submit his ass,
Dude, I was
and then
gonna, yeah, dude, your wrestling is unreal. I'm sorry to cut the conversation, but your wrestling is really, really solid, man. But that's the moment that you decide you want to become an MMA fighter after just getting the dog shit kicked out of you and beating the
Yeah,
guy.
cause literally, like, bro, I was showering blood. To be honest, I was showering blood. So after I submit him, I stand up and I see like the 5,000, 4,000 people just like pointing their cell phones at me. Like everybody just watching, cause this venue was like 2 floors. So you have people from like high and then people from down see you. And bro, I remember I lift my hands, I look at the whole audience, and it was such a crazy feeling that I was like, fuck yeah, I want to do this the rest of my life.
And nothing has
Like
beat that feeling, huh?
yeah, no, I was like, bro, I'm made for this shit. Like literally, like I'm made for this shit.
Dude, yes you are, bro. Yes the fuck you are, man. Okay, now moving on. You've had 20 pro fights, as I said already, man. You're coming off that beautiful knockout win in the second round. You've also had a fight with the UFC on short notice. You've also had a fight with the LFA. You've been all over. I wanted to ask you, in your personal opinion, after fighting a seasoned UFC veteran, how big do you think the skill gap is between the regional scene and the UFC?
To be honest, for me, I don't think it's any gap. To be honest, like this past weekend, I felt like I was supposed to be a top prospect from Uzbekistan, coming out of like Team Alpha Male, which is like
I know
a
Team Up.
a really good gym. The kid was supposed to be like the next, star. Everybody was talking about like he would beat me, he would go to the UFC, and then like, man, I just keep proving what I've been saying the last few years. I'm above all these the guys. I'm above all like his levels in this game, and like I belong to the UFC. With my short days, my 2 days notice in the UFC, I went to fight like a veteran up there with like really good record, and then like I almost put him out in the second round.
Yes, bro.
So I
Yes.
so I proved that I belong there. I was fighting my last few years at 125. They give me the chance at 135, and then like it's a big gap for people that doesn't understand. Like right now after a fight, I'm eating whatever I want, and then I'm waking up at 152, which like that's like a normal like 120 fighter. Like a 135, you have people walking around like 170, 165, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm small for the weight class, but I ain't scared about nobody. And then I'm 100% sure that I can take a punch. I know I can take a
Fuck
punch,
yes, you can take a punch, bro.
and I'm 100% sure that I can hit hard. So, like I ain't scared about anybody, like the bigger guys doesn't scare me, like this guy was, like really crazy ass wrestler, like I said, from Uzbekistan, coming from Team Alpha Male. They're gonna be a heavy ass grapplers, but then I ain't scared to go to the ground. Like for like being a Mexican, I think I have the best takedown defense as a Mexican. You know, I have like probably like the best like bottom game too. Like as soon as I touch the ground, I'm gonna be attacking nonstop. And then when I decide to get up, I'm gonna get up. Like I told everybody that this fight was about to be over before the second round was done, and then I did it. So I just think I belong to the UFC. I belong to that level, and then for your question, like it's hard for me to tell you like what is the difference between the regional scene and then the UFC, because you know I would say probably in the last 2 years, I feel like I should have been in the UFC, because I've been in the regional scene for so long, and I keep proving that like this is not for me anymore. But like they keep having me here, so I guess the regional scene can be really dangerous if you have people like me.
Dude, if you have people like you, man, I would be shitting my pants as I was across the cage from you because you are a menace in the cage, dude. And I gotta ask. After that fight you had with Freed Bazar, I asked myself, are all Mexicans born with iron chins? Because you absolutely ate a mean right hand in the first round, came out in the second really hot, bro. You look like a machine out there. And listen, I was going to ask you this question, but I think this question is unnecessary. I also think that win over Kamran Uturbokev, which is the guy that you fought out of Uzbekistan, he's a great wrestler. I've looked into his background. I really do believe that you deserve another shot in the UFC, especially the Dana White's Contender Series. Dude, that fight against Farid Basra, dude, you put up an absolute scrap. Now, I got a question for you since we're on the topic of the UFC. Is there any opponent in specific that you think is a good matchup for you in the bantamweight division or for the flyweight division?
Anybody, brother. Anybody can get it. Anybody can
Anybody
get it.
can.
You
I
know,
love that.
the longer you're a fighter that wants to fight, I'm down to fight you. You know, if you want to come and try to hug my legs and then just like like win by that, bro, let's be honest, like nobody wants to see that shit. I don't want to
Yeah,
see that
boy.
shit. Like if you're gonna go in the cage and you're gonna be just touching and running around, because these are strikers that do that, It's strikers, people that just touch and run, touch and run. I'm like, nobody wants to do that. I'm here to entertain people. I'm here to like show the world that what is MMA about. Like I wanna bring the all times MMA, where it's like super violent, where it's like super entertaining, people is paying to see like a show, to see a fight. The people doesn't come to see somebody hugging legs. If you want to do that, then go the new wrestling thing, RIF or whatever they call. Don't call yourself a fighter if you don't want to fight. So I would say anybody that wants to scrap, I'm down to fight anybody.
I love that response, dude. I love that response. People are sick and tired of the wrestling, and you bring entertainment to the cage.
And then don't get me wrong, I love wrestling, I love jiu-jitsu, but like my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling is like, look at
It's
this guy. He tried
offensive.
he tried to take me down. I will defend the takedown. I got the scramble, I got on top, and I'm gonna try to finish the fight with ground and pound before I go for the submission. You
Yeah.
know? I'm gonna beat the shit out. That's
You
my
are a
wrestling.
violent guy in the cage. I got to give it to you, man. I know what you're saying. A lot of people are trying to win on points by smothering you. You're trying to beat up your opponent, dude.
Yeah.
You do a great job at that. And I think there's this guy that he has a lot of hype right now who I think is a good matchup for you. I'm just putting it out there. His name is Jacob Walkowitz. He does train out of the Joanna Jędrzejczyk camp. I think he's got a lot of hype behind him. I think he's a rangy striker, but I think that you're too fast, too strong, and you're too well-rounded. And
Jacob, I don't
Jacob
I don't even-
Walkowitz,
I don't know how he looks.
he's a tall guy. He's blonde. He looks a little funny. He
Oh,
just beat
he,
Muin
he,
Gafarov.
he fought in my same car, right?
I think he fought on the same card, yes, against Muin Gafarov.
I don't know what the name of the guy, but like, yeah, I know he was a KSW.
KSW, yes, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, I know. He's a heavy grappler. He's a heavy grappler.
Heavy grappler, but I don't think he's the slickness of you, to be honest with you. What he likes to do is really use his teeps up the middle, break the angle, force you up against the cage, and do a lot of
She ain't working.
He's
She
like
ain't
a
working
judoka
against me.
throw, you know? Huh?
She ain't working against me.
Me, I'm working, dude. No, dude, it ain't gonna work against you. Absolutely not, dude. You're gonna spark his lights out. Cause, dude, one thing I want to ask you is, how do you have such great cardio, especially since you were on short notice, dude? The fact that you were able to red light and keep that energy all the way to the end was seriously impressive.
I'm just like hard worker, man. I'm a hard worker. I'm training hard every single day. Like, Saturday I fight, I finish my fight, and then that's in the past already. Monday I was already back to the gym.
Yeah.
Monday I'm already back to the gym. The longer I decide to be a fighter, I'm gonna be a full-time fighter all day, every day. I don't take breaks. I try to push myself the more I can. And then, of course I'm smart to know where I have to like go a little light with, like, for example, with sparring and stuff like that. But like times like right now, it's time to learn new things, to like get better, improve in other areas, like talk and sit with my team about like nutritionist, strength conditioning, and then like let's see what we can improve, so like and at the end of the day, bro, I would say this all day, like like I'm fucking hungry, bro. People think and believe that like they just, a lot of people, they have different reasons to fight, some people fight because they want to be famous, some people fight because think it's cool, I fight for more than that. I fight for my family. I fight for like all the people is around me. Like is I can say this because it's in English, and then nobody from my family speak English. They all live in Mexico, but like, bro, for this fight, I was thinking all in my head because when I came to the States, my mom sold his car to like give me some money and help me, and I promised her that I was about to buy a car, and then like since then it's been almost 10 years since I left Mexico, and I can't buy a car yet, but she's been like she's been just like having like little issues how to like go to the store, stuff like that, because she goes in her bike, she rides a bike, and then she already fell twice. But then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna beat this motherfucker, and then like I'm gonna have two checks because everybody knows that like with a win you get two checks, and with one of my checks, I'm gonna go next week to Mexico, and I'm gonna buy like a little electric car. It's not like a real car, but it's like a little electric car for my mom, you know. So like people doesn't see that, but like the other guy was thinking about beating me and going to the UFC. For me, I was thinking about beating him to get two checks so that I can buy a little car for my mom.
Dude, that's super honorable, man. You were fighting for a lot more than yourself. I respect that a lot. And I respect a fighter who's open and honest with his fans. You know what I mean? And I really do see a bright future for you. And I don't mean a segue, but I just want to segue into another section. We're going to go with the rapid fire section. You know, on this channel, what we like to do is also break down picks and predictions. I'm going to ask you a question for each fight of the White House card, and I want you to tell me who you think is going to win right off the top of your head. Um, let's go with the first start opener of the guy you mentioned earlier, Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia.
To be honest, Diego is my friend. Of course, I want to see all my friends to win, and I want to see all my friends to succeed. I think playing smart, playing his game, he can win for sure. People is sleeping in Steve Garcia. You know, Steve Garcia is like I think he's one of the most dangerous guys in the division because he's like underrated, and I feel like him and Diego have something in common, which those guys come to fight. They don't care about winning, losing. They come to finish fights. So it's like it's a hard fight because Steve Garcia is really aggressive. He's a really big guy, and then he don't has nothing to lose and everything to win, you know. But for sure, I want to see my friend Diego Lopez with the hand raised at the end of the night.
All three of you guys have something in common, and that's your desire to fight. All three of you guys go in the cage and put on a show. That's one thing that all three of you guys have in common, man. I got to give it to you guys. The next fight I'm going to ask you about is Mauricio Ruffy versus Michael Chandler.
We all know Mauricio Roth is gonna win, bro. I think it's like he's gonna win fashion, you know. I can see him doing like a tip to the face, you know. Of course, you know, I would say if Michael Chandler from Bellator coming here and then try to take him down and just like hold him down and demolish him with the, like ground and pound and in heavy pressure, he could do way different in the UFC. But the thing is, the Michael Chandler we have in the UFC is that Michael Chandler doesn't think too much and he just starts to scraps and doesn't understand that he's a wrestler, you know,
Yeah,
before a
yeah.
striker. So I think Mauricio Rufy is gonna finish the fight under two.
Under two. Yo, I like that. I like that. Now, what do you think? I'm going to actually, you know what? Forget who I want to ask you about this fight. What do you think about a guy like Josh Hockett in the heavyweight division? The guy who's running his mouth and putting on a show for the people in a different way, but also in the cage.
To be honest, I think we need people like that. You know, it's like I would say this. That's not my type of personality. You know, I met the guy in San Jose when I was training at DC. A few months ago, I was training at DC's, and then he came to DC's gym too to train. So I met the guy. He's a really cool guy, and then different person. Is completely different guy in person than like you see on TV. We need those type of characters to bring more eyes to the sport. You know, like I would say like all promotion is a good promotion, and then what I like about him is that you know he can be annoying. He can talk so much stuff that like we might don't like it because like I say I don't like that type of stuff. But you know when he step in the cage, he's down to scrap.
He
And then
backs it
like
up. He backs it up,
and then
bro.
that's one thing that I like it. You know, for me it's like I don't talk too much, but when I talk it's because I'm back it up. You know, I always say if you're gonna talk, make sure you back it up. And then that guy back it up good. So like you know I'm cool with that and I rock with that, you know, like if the guy is down to put in a scrap. And then you know for being a heavy wrestler, bro, he tried to put in a scrap with punches, you know, he tried to fight, you know. And then we all know he's like a wrestler, so like he's not using his wrestling yet, you know. So I love to see that, you know. And then I think he's gonna do really good and he's helping the sport for sure.
Yeah, dude, he's an entertainer, dude. You and him are also entertainers. You're an entertainer in the cage, but I respect how you said, man, if you're going to talk the shit outside the cage, all you got to do is back it up inside the cage. And he came out there, dude. I might be biased. I might be like shit talking out my ass here. I think the Josh Hockett and Curtis Blades fight was hands down one of the best fights of all time. There was not a break in the action. These guys were throwing attempts, but they were stuffing them. They were going right back to it. Most amount of significant strikes ever thrown in a heavyweight fight. And
For sure, he's in the top three best heavyweight fights
for sure.
for all time.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure, you know. And I just say that because you know I will never gonna forget Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos.
Junior
That
DeSantos, who's fighting this weekend. You know, Junior DeSantos is still
yes,
fighting.
yes, and Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah, which is so
so,
crazy, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, man, like that guy can back it up. So I rock with that.
All right. And let's move on to the last three fights. You can answer them quickly, however you may like. What about Sean O'Malley versus Eamon Zahabi? He's representing Canada. I'm from Canada. I gotta represent, even though I think my boy's gonna get brutally chinned. What do you think?
To be honest, look, it's like either Sean O'Malley won by KO or your boy is gonna win by decision. You
Yeah,
know,
baby.
and I think your boy can win by decision because he can get hit. To be honest, he got hit really hard by the knee with all Aldo. You know, like he fought Chito, and then Chito is really aggressive and he hits hard. I trained with Chito before,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know how hard that guy can hit and how aggressive he is. And this guy, like went through. To be honest, I thought Chito won that fight. It was a really close fight, really, really, really close fight. But at the end of the day, that's nothing that has to do with the guy. Like we're not judges, we're not giving the decision. So like like he's at the White House, and I think with a good game plan, and then like if he can avoid the danger of O'Malley, he will win.
Yeah, he's also got a really good team behind him. You know, Faraz
Oh, that's what I'm
Zahabi,
saying. A good game plan,
GSP, exactly.
good game plan, he will be fine. But O'Malley can put anybody out with one punch, so you just gotta pass that through.
All right, now let's go to the main event of the evening. Dude, I think this is crazy. I'm a fanboy over this shit. Alex Pereira is going for 3 belts. What do you think about him taking on Cyril Gahn?
I think Alex is gonna win. Uh, I would say this for sure. I think Silgan is gonna try to shoot at some point.
Cyril Gahn's gonna shoot? You think Cyril Gahn's gonna shoot? No way.
Yes, I think he's gonna shoot at some point, just to like put it up there. Like I would say this: Sergan is so athletic.
Mhm.
I really like the footwork he has. I really like the mobility on his feet. He's super light on his feet and stuff like that. But like Pereira style is like such a good style that like it doesn't matter how good you are or how you move. He always make people fight his fight.
Mhm.
you know he always people fight his fight and then make him believe that like they're doing like what they're supposed to do. Like the biggest example is when he fought Sean Strickland. Strickland always walk down people, use the like jab, and then he just march it down people. And then if you look at the clip versus Pereira was moving backwards, which Pereira doesn't do that really often, and he was moving backwards, just waiting for the moment to capitalize with the counter. And then I think that's gonna be like he's gonna make feel comfortable like Zero Gan, and then when he's ready, he's just gonna like let go.
Let go of
But
that left hook, dude. Oh my
I
god.
wouldn't be surprised if Zero Gan is gonna try to come with the takedown just to like put it up there and mix it up. I mean, I would do it. I would tell my fighter to do that. I would tell like, hey, like making think that you're gonna scrap, shoot the takedown, and then like, cause like I would say a heavyweight, you don't need to be too skilled to control somebody. You're already like 265,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you're already 265. You just like you have to learn how to put a little bit away, and it's gonna be hard for them to get up. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah, 265, dude. Like, dude, you're already like the size of a car.
yeah, bro. Like, and then I saw Pereira in Seattle. I
Right.
took a picture, bro. The guy was huge, huge,
How big is
and
he in
then
real life?
oh, huge, bro, huge. That guy was like crazy big. I was like, God damn, bro, like this guy is big. I can't believe he was making 85.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Still to this day, I have no clue how that guy was making 185. Um, Listen, let's go to the because we're running a little bit short on time. Let's go to the main event of the evening, Taporia versus Gaethje, and then I got a couple of questions left for you. Who do you think is gonna win that fight?
And I think Tupuria, bro.
Like, come on, bro. Like, let's keep it real.
I love Gaethje and everything, but I think, bro, they doing it dirty. I would say this: Gaethje is a gambler. Gaethje is a gamer. Gaethje can put your lights out like with one punch, but Tupuria is too smart. Tupuria is too smart, bro. Like I like it's a fight game. We see clip before Tupuria when he got the head kick. We see him getting hurt, and then To be honest, I thought like in the first picture they put in the face of at the like jar in the White House, Gaethje looks way bigger than Topuria.
Way bigger. But
He
Topuria is
looks
a featherweight though. He is a
yeah
featherweight, you
yeah.
know?
I saw Topuria in person before, and then like he's my height, just white,
Yeah.
like really white. You know, because I'm I'm just telling you, I'm like a 20 fighter frame. You
Right.
know, but then like he's like my height, so for sure, I would love to see like a Gaethje giving a good fight and stuff like that, putting on the test like Tupuria, but Tupuria is too good right now, and he's coming from like a hard situation family, so he has some demons inside that he has to let it go. So I don't know about that, brother.
Yo, rest in peace, Justin Gaethje, bro. Jesus Christ. Now, for the final question, I want to ask you. If you had one message to your fans, if you had one message to Dana White, and you had one message to the UFC, what would you say to the world?
I would say, please give me my chance. I know with a 2 days notice, it was hard to make weight, but I mean, I keep proving to the world that I belong there. Give me my chance, put me back there, and then I will show you the world like what is a real showman inside the cage. The best Mexican. I'm the best Mexican outside the UFC.
Fuck yeah, baby. Dana, sign my boy. What are you doing? This
Yeah,
guy's
let's go.
ready for the UFC. He was not even fighting in his own division. He came in on 2 days short notice. He gave us a scrap, give him a chance, give him a chance in his right weight class. This guy's ready to shock the world.
Give me a camp, full camp, baby.
Give him a full camp too. Like, come on, dude. He fought Fareed Basrat on 2 days. What are we doing here? This guy's ready for the UFC, baby.
Let's go.
Man, it's been an absolute pleasure interviewing you. I feel so privileged. And I just want to thank you for coming on this channel.
No, thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Like I always say, and I'm gonna keep saying it till we keep doing this. We're nothing without you guys. Without the fans, without the media, we're nothing. Fighters we get paid because you guys are watching our sport, and then I would say we belong to you guys. So like, thank you for the space, thank you for the time, and I appreciate you guys follow my journey and then like supporting my career. And then we'll be back in the UFC, guys. And then next time we talk, we're gonna be in the UFC.
You heard it from the man himself. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Lazy MMA, lazy analysis, serious results.